If you want to see how I made this cake, continue watching. So my daughter turned 6 months old and I wanted to make it very special for her. So what I started was with a vanilla cake recipe. I used an 8-inch cake pan when I baked this, and I baked 2 cakes. I just cut them in half once I did it, and I stacked them on top of each other to give me 3 whole cakes. So what I'm doing is I'm adding in some wooden toothpicks, but I covered them in aluminum foil. That way it can make sure that it holds a better structure for the cake. So I'm just placing each one of them so my cake will have a good support system and my cake doesn't topple over while I go ahead and add in my buttercream. If you're interested in a foolproof buttercream recipe, check in my description below. I have a foolproof buttercream recipe, and honestly I would say everyone who tells me that they don't like buttercream, they always come back to this recipe. So I see here that it was a little bit longer than anticipated, so I'm going to just go ahead, take that out and cut it down again, because I want to make sure that each and every one of the dowels are on the same exact level, because it'll make it easier in the long run when I go in to ice the cake. So the first thing that I'm going to go in do is add a crumb coat. So that's what you see me adding the frosting on for. So I'm adding in the buttercream because it's going to help make my crumb coat, and it's going to make sure that I get the coverage that I'm looking for. Now, one tip that I would say to do once you're doing this is to make sure that your cake is cold. It just makes it easier, because you guys will see what I'm talking about later on in the At this point, you can kind of see that with my cake, it doesn't have the best structure as far as when I'm going and I'm icing it with the buttercream. I was getting a little bit frustrated, and I was kind of getting a little bit worried that I even went back in and used my gloved up hands just to go ahead and pack in the cake where I need be. And I decided to go ahead and put it in the fridge to chill it. So in this part of the video, I went into just decorating my cookies because I just needed to step away. Never feel bad when you're baking or you're decorating and you just need to step away for a second just to get your mental clear and just get a better idea of how you want to go and move forward. And yes, I did make my daughter some cookies too. So I did cookies and 2 cakes for her 6-month-old because me as her mom, I'm going to make sure that she has the best birthdays, best experiences, the best that I can. So I made some carrot cake cookies to go along with her 2 cakes. So now that I had a better base structure and I took a step away from the cake, I took it out of the refrigerator because now it was set with the icing like I would liked it to have been. And I went ahead and I grabbed my gloves to put my gloves back in to make sure that I'm staying safe and sanitary while I'm working on cake that's going to be served to people. Even though it's for family, I still want to make sure that I'm practicing good care as far as just serving people. So the next thing that I went and I did was I started with decorating, and I'm going to show you guys how I decided to decorate the cake. So I'm gonna go in, I believe this is a 1M tip from Michaels, and I'm going in and I'm making rosettes. This is my favorite go-to, and honestly, if you're a beginner baker, I would definitely recommend going and practicing. So I didn't want to bore you guys too much, but this is how the cake turned out. And then I'm going in with some gold edible glitter spray. I love adding shimmer and glitter because it can enhance the cake and just make it look so elegant when you do that. And then I brought these little props. You can make them yourself. I just decided to buy it because it wouldn't have set up in time by the time it was time for the party. So what I ended up doing was going ahead and figuring out where I wanted the placement of each thing to be at in her cake. Now for the little details, I know you guys are probably like, what is this? And I don't know if some of you have figured it out yet or not, but I'm making her a unicorn cake. So I'm going ahead and adding in her little unicorn ears and the little unicorn horn so you guys can see. And then I did cutouts with my mom for her cake to make the little eyelashes to make it like a unicorn. And this is how the both of the cakes turned out. I did a
like the underdog, nigga, I've been a star. See me, just don't look too hard because I've been a star.